Boy, that's a powerful word, isn't it? Hope, as I think about hope, is that thing that we need. Hope is not just a nifty or cool or trendy or feel good idea. It's what we need. I think it's hope that sustains us. It's hope that keeps us moving forward. It's hope that gets us out of bed or causes us to process through whatever it is we're facing. Hope that the outcome will be better. Hope that a change comes. Hope that healing is a part of this. Hope that whatever you may be hoping for. When I think about hope, I think of a lot of different things, but one of those things I think of is sports. I can't help but think about that. And I'm thinking even now of a recent game where I was watching one of my teams and there were just seconds left on the clock and we were losing badly, actually by a couple of scores. And it would take a miracle to do what needed to be done to win. And I had given up hope. I had determined, that's not going to happen. And I had even said to my family, who are also fans of this particular team, yeah, it's over. We've lost it. And then a miracle happened. I'd given up hope. That's just a sporting event. There are places in our life, right, where hope is far more important than during a sporting event. There are places in our life where hope is that thing that sustains us in the face of bad news. Hope is that thing that sustains us in the face of broken relationships. Hope is that thing that sustains us. Hope is that thing that keeps us moving. For hundreds of years prior to Jesus being born, the people of God hoped. See, God had promised a Messiah. He had promised that a deliverer would come, a change would come. And the people of God waited. That's what Advent is. It's waiting. And as we begin Advent, we begin with this idea that waiting needs hope. Waiting is infused with hope. And that waiting for the Messiah was filled with hope. Isaiah would write about that waiting in the 9th chapter of his book. He starts it like this. He says, the people who walk in darkness, they will see a great light. For those who live in the land of deep darkness, a light will shine. That's a hope-filled verse. There's good coming. And he's reminding them that the Messiah was promised and the Messiah will come. And with the Messiah, there are good things. And so there's a reason to hope. And so they waited. We find ourselves in that same place. We're not waiting for the Messiah, but we're waiting for Jesus to complete the work that he has begun, particularly in those of us that have chosen to follow him. We know that Isaiah is writing about the Messiah, and the Messiah, as he is writing, will come in the form of a baby, and we know that Jesus is that baby. We know that because in the verses that follow that one I just read, he says this, for a child is born to us, a son is given, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. He says there's reason to hope. There's a baby that's going to be born, and in that baby is the fulfillment of God's promise of deliverance, the fulfillment of God's promise that a change is coming. He calls him a wonderful counselor, the guide that we need in our life, a mighty God, the power that we need in impossible circumstances, the everlasting Father, the one that will never leave, and the Prince of Peace, the one that can speak calm to the storms. He goes on in speaking about this hope that we wait for. And he says his government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. Hope. There's a reason to hope because God was coming into our world, as Isaiah would write, and we know he has entered our world and he is at work bringing those things to be accomplished. Paul would later say it like this. He would write that it is Christ living in us. It's the Holy Spirit living in us. When we say yes to him, Christ living in us, that is hope, the hope of glory, the hope of God, the hope of God's presence. As you begin this Advent season, do you have hope? Will you focus on hope? Fix your eyes on him, whatever you're facing. Hope for that impossible circumstance in your life. Hope for that guidance that you need. Hope for that peace over the chaos. Hope that he will never leave, that you confidently trust him and you are waiting for that hope to be accomplished and fulfilled.